Wolf Brewery, Battle of Britain.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Brews Reviews. Brews Reviews? Brews Reviews. That's what happens the night after. This is brought to you today by Wolf Brewery's Battle of Britain bitter that I found on Beers of Europe. Now the reason I found it on Beers of Europe is because the Wolf Brewery are based in Norfolk. Now, you know, Beers of Europe do a lot of the local brewers' produce, and these, of course, Wolf Brewery are based in Norfolk. But there's a little interesting twist to this, and they've been going since, I think it's 1995, but they were originally based. Do you remember Gamers Cider? Now, I remember that. That must be going back to the 80s. There was Gamers Cider, do you remember that? Well, Gamers Cider, as far as I know, is no more, or they've moved, because when they moved, the Wolf Brewery moved in there, and they stayed there for just over 10 years, and then they moved on, and obviously expanded. They're obviously doing good produce, and people are buying it, so they had to expand and move. But it was interesting when I was researching this to find that name, Gamers. I do remember that. That was like a cheap cider from Norfolk that people used to drink in the 80s. I wasn't a massive fan of it, to be honest, but if it was there and I was drinking Snakebite, then yeah, it would go in the Snakebite. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. Yeah, they've been going since 1995. They do a really good range of beers, judging by their core range, and they do quite a few good bottled beers as well. But this stuff is brewed in accordance with the RAFA, or the Royal Air Force Association, and they give them, I wouldn't say in accordance, but in association with them, and they give them 10p for every bottle sold. So even if this beer's crap, that's a winner, because the Royal Air Force Association get 10 pence. I'm assuming it's going to be good though, because if a brewer's got integrity and they've taken that charity on, they're not going to brew a pile of shit. I don't think so anyway. In fact, if I was a brewer and I had the chance to work with, you know, someone like the RAF, I'd make sure it was probably one of the best beers that I brewed, just so as people kept coming back and buying it, and, you know, you made a bit of money and the Royal Air Force Association made a bit of money too. So we'll be the judge on it. But as I say, it's a local beer, well, local to Norfolk anyway, and it looks quite interesting. There's some interesting ingredients. When I'll go over the ingredients, I'll let you know what they are. But I just want to read a little bit about the actual beer and the association with the charity, what it says. It says, Wolf Brewery will donate 5p per bottle sold to the RAF Association. That's actually changed. On the website, they've now saying 10 pence per bottle. They say, yeah, the RAF Association wings appeal. When someone in the RAF family needs help, the charity they turn to is the Royal Air Force Association. Whatever their needs, they can rely on us every step of the way to give practical assistance, expert advice and emotional support. Throughout life's challenges, we are there for them in person and on the phone, like a good friend should be. In my mind, that's brilliant. I don't care what your views are, what your politics are, that I like. And the Army have got their own, the Army have got a few as well, but the RAF have got this, and believe me, you know, I know quite a few ex-servicemen, and sometimes they do need help in various ways. You'd be surprised, and anything that supports that gets my thumbs up. So immediately, regardless of the beer, that is a winner. Speaking of beer, let's investigate it. Right, it is a 500ml bottle. It's 3.9%, so it's quite sessionable, which is good. There's two types of hops in here that they mention, and they're Goldings and they're Challenger hops, both typically British. Now the Goldings could be East Kent Goldings or just Goldings on their own. Either way, the normal Goldings are sort of mild in flavour, but if they're East Kent Goldings, they're a bit more complex. They've got a lot of citrus on there, some flowery and herbal notes, and they're quite prominent if you dry hop them as well. They can really get citrusy, so that's a good hop. And then you've got the Challenger hops, which of course, you know, you could argue that they're one of the archetypal British hops. Well, there's quite a few, really. You know, if the Germans have got their noble hops, there's 4 British hops that I think are, you know, the ones. Fuggles, Goldings or East Kent Goldings, I lump them two in together. Target and Challenger, I think they're our 4 noble hops. That's just my opinion. You know, there are other hops, British hops out there that are good, but for me, they're the 4 go-to really good standout British hops, and they've got 2 of them in there. So again, the signs are looking good. So let's stop guessing and let's start getting this open. Right, cap is off the bottle. It is just a plain old silver cap. Which shame. Oh bollocks, and it's gone all over the fucking desk. There you go. That was the dog, by the way. I'm going to need to get this out. That's a fucking pain in the arse. Don't know whether that's lively yeast or just where it's been lying on its side. So I'm just going to quickly get this into the glass, but immediately I'm not going to do Northern Southerner beer reviews. His beer hoover. I'm just going to do my best and just get it into the glass. But I'll tell you something. As I was check him out, by the way, Northerner Southerner beer reviews. You've probably heard of him anyway, but check him out. He's a good reviewer. Seems like a decent bloke as well. So yeah, there's a few good ones on there as well. Mr. Ronald's beer reviews is another good one. Check him out. Anyway, let's get out of that cul-de-sac. Right, I couldn't really get any aromas from that because it was going all over the place. But I will say something. When it fizzed up out of the bottle, I was getting some lovely, earthy, spicy British hop aromas coming from that. Wow, and I'm getting something different now. I'm getting a lot of chocolate malt. This is interesting because it's reminding me, oh, maybe that's caramel now. No, it's actually more caramel than chocolate. So calm your shit down. Yeah, but it looks like a nice pint. I've got it in my London Pride glass because the Bass glass is in the wash. I'm not sure whether that's cloudy or whether that is just, no, that is cloudy. That looks half decent, to be honest. There's a fair bit of carbonation, 1.5 finger whitehead, but I'm getting a ton of caramel, and there is, so I'm getting caramel and chocolate malt on that. It's a mixture of the two. No real hop character, but it was weird because when it came out of the bottle, I was getting a lot of the hop aromas. This could be interesting. Let's give it a go. Bottoms up. Nice. Yeah, and that is caramel and chocolate malt. Pretty well balanced caramel and chocolate malt too. Let me get another gob full of this. Yeah, nice. So you got caramel and you got chocolate. A little touch of herbal notes is what I'm getting on that. But this really is all about the malt. And it's putting me in mind of the Cotley Brewery Dark Ale, but like a very, very toned down version of that. There's a fair bit of body on this too. I know it's got wheat in it, so I assume that is where the body is coming from. But it's not bad. I'm quite liking this. Caramel, chocolate, get some butterscotch. It doesn't seem like diacetyl. It's just a little hint of it, and then there's a slight bitterness on the back end, but a little touch of herbal notes on there too. But aside from that, not a lot else. Now feels nice. Carbonation isn't obtrusive at all. And now I'm getting more of the hop flavours come through as well. Little earthy notes, not much, little subtle earthy notes on there. All in all, that is quite nice. And yeah, that is a very good tribute, I think, and a worthy beer to commemorate the Battle of Britain. There's a very nice label on there too. I don't know if you want to have a look at that. It's like a silver label. There's 2 aircraft over there. That's a Spitfire. It annoys me that the Hurricane doesn't get the recognition it deserves, because you know, the Spitfire was the glamour aircraft, if you can call it that, of the Battle of Britain. The Hurricane was the workhorse. That was a stable gun platform. It could take a lot of punishment. 8 303 machine guns in it, and you know, some of the best squadrons in the RAF, particularly 303 squadron, the Polish squadron, they flew Hurricanes and they shot down the most amount of German fighters, a lot of them over the skies of Kent. So you know, there is a link to this in Kent, even though this is brewed in Norfolk. Norfolk, of course, is bomber country. That and Lincoln, that's where all the bomber bases. But Kent, and there was a few around here. You've got Biggin Hill, which is just down the road. You've got Westmoreland, sadly gone now. You've got Manston down the road. So there was a few dotted about. Rochford as well was one. So yeah, there's a big history between the Battle of Britain and Kent. Obviously, I'm not going to go into the history of it because I could bore the arse off a donkey with history about the World War II. It's my thing. It's what I'm passionate about. Beer, World War II history, guitars, motorbikes, heavy metal, punk, you name it. There you go. There's my life story. Back to the beer though. This is a good one. Yeah, a lovely British pint. Oh, them lovely big toffee and chocolate malts are coming through there now. Initially I said it was caramel. I think it's more toffee now, but it's big, it's huge, really nice. I can only imagine that tastes gorgeous out of the cask. Very good. So what's the verdict on this? Well, if that tasted like a big pile of shit, I wouldn't begrudge it, because my money's going to, or some of it at least, is going to help the RAF Association, which is a really good cause. But as an added bonus, you're getting a half decent pint now. And when I say half decent, I mean it's a good one. It's got plenty of toffee malt in there, a little touch of caramel and a little touch of chocolate malt. So you're getting, that's what I'm picking up. I could be wrong, there may not be that, but that's what I'm picking up. And then you've got the nice hop character, which is very, very subtle. The malts are dominant in this, and all in all, it makes a very nice pint. Good body on it, mouthfeel is nice, no complaints whatsoever really. It's a good, solid British bitter, and that's what I like. And as I say, you know, people are ignoring this style now, and I feel, you know, half of me doesn't really want to make it known. I know it shouldn't be selfish like that, but they're definitely missing out. You know, this needs to come. Well, it's never gone out of fashion, really, has it? But this style of beer, you know, it's what I love, and it's typically British, and it's what we do best. We can try it and get, you know, all these craft brewers, they can try and imitate what the Americans have done, and don't get me wrong, some of them are doing a really good job of it. But this is what we do best. This sort of stuff here. Bitters, ruby ales, old ales, you know, the blends, even some of the porters and stouts as well. You know, it's what Britain does best, I think, anyway. But there you go. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. It's a good, solid British pint of bitter. And it's also going for a good cause. And what's not to like about that? So yeah, 8 out of 10, recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.